MP Robert Chavinga has ignited fierce debate over potential state interference in South Africa's judiciary regarding the repatriation of former President Edgar Lungu's remains. Now, Robert Chavinga named Emmanuel Mwamba among those he accuses of engineering the clip, claiming it is sophisticated AI-generated deepfake. We speak with Emmanuel Mwamba, who is Patriotic Front Information and Publicity Chairman, to get his perspective on the unfolding controversy. Mr. Mwamba, good morning and welcome to the Diamond Breakfast.
Thank you very much, Tim, and good morning to you all. I'm grateful that you invited me. I'm grateful.
We're glad you could have this conversation with us. Now, you've been directly named by Robert Chavinga as someone allegedly behind the circulation of this audio. What is your response to his accusations?
I run a podcast called Emmanuel Mwamba Verified, and I publish what I've verified. That audio is fully verified, AI verified. It is verified in all ways. I had it 3 days before I published it. I even endeavored to speak to some of those mentioned in the audio when I was satisfied that this was a genuine audio, and the two speakers in the audio were the ones. I proceeded to publish it after verification. What Mr. Chavinga is doing is called cover-up. After the crime, you want the crime to go away, and you therefore commit more lies and more crimes. This is what Robert Chavinga is engaged in. I'm glad that many people, even from the side of the UPND, such as our dear brother Simon Mwewa, Len as he calls himself on Facebook, did say that that is a genuine conversation. We should just be dealing with the details and content, not to allege that it is AI. The supporter from the United States called George N. Tonga is also said that this is AI. Then you have this is not AI. Then you have a lot of people available with software like you, any media station. You can put the audio through AI. There are verification applications, and they'll tell you that this is not either deepfake or that it is AI. So what Mr. Chavinga is doing is just engaged in another set of crimes after the first set of crime that he committed with the president, with the director of intelligence, and our dear sister, the Minister of Community Development, who should have reported these crimes when she had these conversations and allegations by Robert Chavinga. Robert Chavinga, we should go primarily to what he says and why this matter is very, very serious. He said he received instructions from the president and that an air ticket was procured for him by the director of intelligence, and that he traveled to South Africa to attempt to influence the judiciary in South Africa, essentially to bribe the judiciary in South Africa that are handling the case, the matter that is before the Gauteng High Court, the Pretoria Division. He further says that he was to arrange press conferences and demonstrations to rouse public interest in the matter, and that these demonstrations will be organized in South Africa and in Zambia. So clearly you have a man that is being sent to interfere, first of all, with the sovereign work of an independent state. He takes what we call malign activities. He takes issues of espionage. He takes issues of interfering with judicial process in another country.
Mwamba, before we go further, I will allow you to stress that point also, but we'd just like to understand how that audio came into your possession. How did you get a hold of the audio?
Oh, like I get, if there's corruption somewhere, people send me documents. If there's a tender that's fraught with allegations of corruption, people send me documents. People that are familiar with my page will realize that I publish audios, I publish many documents, and I publish many stories. That's why, I call my podcast Verified, Emmanuel Mwamba Verified. I take public interest, I take public issues, and I bring them to the people of Zambia. That's what I'm engaged in. So many people send me these material. And like you and I, you are journalists. If there's anyone who would understand better, it's you journalists. There are not many times you go to seek out news. Many times, news will drop just on your laps.
Right. Now, I'm curious, you did mention, or you did, at least give a pat on the back to Mr. Stambala Mua on, his stance on this audio. I mean, yes, we do understand that this may not be AI, I guess until investigations or the police confirm it, but, he did say, look, this is not AI, and we shouldn't focus on it being AI or not, but the content of that audio. Do you agree with him? Is that what we need to be looking into? I mean, and I'm happy that you brought him up, because he did say, look, if this was coming out from somebody closer to the president, somebody, within his direct team, it would be something of serious concern, or something that we should be seriously concerned about. But this came from somebody who is in the opposition, somebody who's trying to align himself with the ruling party and so on. I mean, there must be a little bit of distance between the president and Robert Chavinga. So do you agree with Mr. Mua? Are the contents of that audio is something we need to be focusing on right now?
No, this becomes a leadership issue. Should the president be using characters like that? This is a third leakage of audio from Chavinga. You remember the first one, he boasted that he held a meeting with President Hakainde Hichilema, in which President Hakainde Hichilema promised him a cabinet portfolio. And you remember in that audio, which State House never refuted, he stated that in his conversation with the president, that appointment would come as early as next week. That was, I think, in 2022. There was a second audio where now he was discussing the security detail that he finds at State House every time he goes to State House. This particular audio is the third one. The Chavinga's proximity to the president, I think, is mischaracterized by Mr. Stambala when he says he's distant, he's an opposition leader. He is not. He's a surrogate of State House. He's someone who's been picked to undermine the opposition. The president carries him in his plane in various places. You, the media, have covered events where Robert Chavinga is with the president. He speaks before the president, affirms, he's even now saying he has an alliance with the UPND as PF president. I remember when I went to Monze, when we had that funeral in the family, Robert Chavinga came with President Hakainde Hichilema to that funeral, if you remember that funeral that I attended in Monze. So Robert Chavinga is always in the entourage of the president. So he is not someone distant from the president. He's someone who's collaborating and working very closely with President Hakainde Hichilema and his government. His speaker is a leader of the opposition in parliament, thanks to Speaker of the National Assembly, thanks to Jack Moon, thanks to President Hakainde Hichilema. So his proximity is very, very near. But it brings out the character flaw of the president to use characters like that, characters that are loudmouth, that can't keep confidentiality, that can't undertake such a serious assignment and tell the world about it. Even if that was a normal conversation, was it necessary for Robert Chavinga to go to the great lengths for 21 minutes explaining how close he is to the president, how detailed the operation was? Was it necessary to name all the people that he was naming? But that's Robert Chavinga. He's a character that should never be near a president. But unfortunately, our president carries him alongside him to many events.
Mr. Mwamba, is that your biggest concern, the individual and the character that is close to the president, or are you more focused on the contents that were revealed in that particular audio?
The contents are criminal. They are local and international crimes. They are plotting to take crimes in a transnational level, take it to another jurisdiction. The matters are extremely serious. The Director General of Intelligence, I think, swore the oath is a creature of the Constitution, is entitled to protect the country, not to engage in what was discussed there. State House and the President should have no business in deploying a character like Robert Chavinga. These are very serious matters. So the UPND and State House think that this matter can be wished away by just alleging that it is AI. For me, the content, if, for example, we had numbers in Parliament, this is an impeachable offense because it has endangered our sovereignty. It's like an act of war. South Africa cannot take this matter very lightly, that a Republican president in Zambia chose to attempt to interfere and bring acts of corruption to their judiciary in South Africa. These allegations are very serious. So while Chavinga can laugh away and attempt to trivialize it, that it is AI, it doesn't take away the seriousness of the matter because, first of all, it's not AI. Even you and I are very aware. We are internet savvy. We are always on social media. We know what AI is. You can tell what AI, even the most sophisticated deepfake, can easily be told that this is mere deepfake or mere AI.
Mr. Mwamba, well, you might, you're using a word, trivializing from Mr. Chavinga over this audio, which is the opposite of what he seems to do, because he's gone as far as reporting this to the police, and you being named as one of the people responsible for this. So have the police gotten in touch with you? Have forensics gotten in touch with you as they start with their investigations into this audio, which he is saying he has nothing to do with?
You know, it's misdirected. You remember what happened when KBN revealed a discussion and audio between the Permanent Secretary, Joseph Akafumba at Home Affairs, and the State House Special Assistant for Politics, Levi Ngoma. You remember that? They went for the broadcast station, went to for the reporter and the editor for publishing the material, instead of getting concerned and calling the perpetrators of that crime, because in that crime, they were interfering with ECZ, even threatening to fire the chief electoral officer, was in that office at the time. The police should have caught the two senior people that were engaged in something that was outside the law. But they concentrated on the source of the leak of the audio, who leaked it. You and I as journalists, that's our everyday cup of tea. We get information. It's not our problem. Our role is just to publish that story so that we then make it available to our people. So if anyone is focusing on me, they are totally mistaken. The audio is true. You need to call the people
Mr.
that
Mwamba,
are in the audio.
Why wouldn't they focus on you? I mean, you leaked it. I saw some messages that some waving, taking jabs at the fact that you're not even in the country to make a report. But here you are looking for, justice systems to prevail. Yet you yourself couldn't even report the matter. All you did was leak the audio.
That's all I do. When I published the report that KCM and Vedanta were meeting, I met them at the hotel, and I published. The following day, the president was having a press conference, and he denied that they were going to hand over KCM and Vedanta. It came to pass. And when I published the 61 tracks, I was the first one to publish. The matter came to pass. It's not about me. I'm a mere platform when something has gone wrong. When I saw, because the president had sworn several times that he would never give KCM back to Vedanta. And then I found Vedanta and KCM at a hotel in a meeting. And I challenged the president. I said they're about to give KCM back to Vedanta, because I found them, even the senior men that were in that meeting, And I published. The president had a press conference the following day, and he denied it. He says, you must have heard from social media that we're about to give the data. A few months later, he did exactly what we published. We published the 61 tracks. We're the first one to publish on my page. And it came to pass, like this audio. So people who make information available to us, what our duty is to pursue the truth, not to pursue the messengers. So here people wish to concentrate. First they lie that it's AI. Now they want to concentrate on Emmanuel Mwamba. No, it's not Emmanuel Mwamba who traveled to South Africa. I've shown you the passport. I have Chavinga's details of travel. I have published on my page his travel. I've even published a video when he was on the plane. Chavinga, we know where he stayed at the hotel. And what he's engaged in is what the authorities must pursue. Is this true? Simon Mwewa says, no, maybe Chavinga is just thumping on his chest, trying to show that he's close to the president. That's again a deflection. What should happen is that the president, the police must call the minister and Robert Chavinga. Clear this is not AI. And then begin
well, okay,
to
on that note, Mr. Mwamba, we did get to see, Dr. Lungu some time ago, before he passed, years ago, mentioned that, sometimes things get to be instructed as if it is the president who has issued that instruction, when in fact not, that the president might not even know anything, to some of the things that could possibly be going on, because people are using the name of the president to get some of their works done, or to push some of their agendas. Do you think that there is a possibility that in this case, that Robert Chavinga could possibly maybe be influenced by somebody else who could be masking or masquerading under the president's instruction?
A quick response, please.
No, not at all. Like I said in the first audio, Robert Chavinga said, I had a meeting with the president, and the president has promised us as early as next week, I'll be minister. Of course, he didn't become minister, but the president didn't deny that. The following audio, he began to discuss the security detail and even made very serious allegations that the security detail of the president at State House had been taken over by white people. This is a very serious matter, that the security detail of the president has been taken over by so-called white people. Where are our Zambian trained experts? State House didn't dismiss. In this case, he's not saying someone spoke to me. He's saying, I found 12 missed calls from the president. I found 30 missed calls from the director general. This was now at 02, and he called back, and he was told that he needed to jump on a plane and go to South Africa. And so here is a case where, again, the Director General of Intelligence is now buying a ticket for Robert Chavinga. And Chavinga, the following day, the very people he named who he found at the airport and who he found on the plane. We have the video, and you have seen it. So it's not just an allegation. You also have collaborative statement. Is Chavinga stretching the name of the president? He could be. But in this case, he's naming the president directly. He says the president gave me 12 missed calls, and he called him back, and he was told to call, the Director General of Intelligence. And he called the Director General of Intelligence, who told him that he should be on the next plane in the morning. And he was on the next plane in the morning. The people he mentions who he met on the plane, you have seen them even in the video on the plane. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, it's a character flaw of the president. There are these elements that must be distant from the president. Those that have no credibility, those that have suspected crimes, those that are involved in scandals, should never be near the president. But maybe for a dirty job like hijacking the Patriotic Front, he probably can't find someone credible enough to do that. So he has to use characters like these, who then are given to do a dirty job.
Well, Mr. Mwamba, I would have to end on that note. Thank you so much for joining us on the Diamond Breakfast this morning.
Thank you very much, family, and thank you for the opportunity. And let the police call Robert Chavinga and the minister, not Emmanuel Mwamba. I'm a mere platform like Diamond TV.
Well, we will be waiting to see what further action is taken. But there has been action taken by Mafinga Member of Parliament, Robert Chavinga, and we're talking to Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba there just to get his standing, as he was one of the people mentioned at this report, the police report that has been made by Mr. Chavinga. So, Mr. Mwamba